performance is about time, space, the body, and that is the body of the performer, and the relationship of the performer to the audience. Now, going back to this and thinking about it in terms of contemporary media, how can we modify this? What is it that we can do with this? How can we bend this to accommodate more media, or is there any sort of wiggle room with it? So in my first example, looking at this example of space, we see an avatar in a virtual space. Is this a way to address space through the avatar? One of the things that to consider is that the avatar also has a body. And so when we talk about the body of the performer, is the avatar in a virtual space a reasonable surrogate for this? Or for that matter, is a machine a reasonable surrogate? Can a machine represent the body of the performer? Can a machine be a performer? I want to take and dissect the difference between performance art and the performing arts, because they're both very close. And in fact, they are very closely related. So performance art can include the things that we see in the performing arts, like dance and music and theater, and even things like juggling or circus acts. But these things have a tendency to be pushed more towards the idea of performing arts. Now, performance art is a conceptually founded artwork, which means that it really is formulated around the ideas that are behind it. So the drama that's behind it, or the setting, or what's going on with the performer's body, is secondary to the idea that the performer is trying to convey. So, like, instead of being a performance for the sake of entertainment, it's a performance the performance is for the sake of carrying across a specific meaning. My first example of performance art was by Marina Abramovic, and she recently finished a performance that lasted like 700 hours over the span of 3 months at the Museum of Modern Art. And the response of the art-going community was varied, from vomiting to nudity to just like litter or flyering, and it all sort of fit in really well with our understanding of the performance piece. The first thing I want to do is play a little bit of audio of her describing this piece for you.
In the artist is present. I perform every day for 3 months. The performance is really about presence. You have to be in here and now, 100%. I have the empty chair, so everybody from the audience can come on his free time and sit in the front of me and engage in this kind of silence experience of the here and now, that present moment. So you can observe this as a kind of stage for experience, or you can really enter that space and take active participation, which actually bring you much closer to the artist and his presence and to your own experience. If you sit on this chair opposite of me, it's extremely important to actually find a very comfortable position and you don't move. Just sit motionless and see what happens if we connect with our eyes. And I really think that it's going to be something quite special to go into this unknown territory, because the energy coming from the audience, I have to be transmitter and receiver in the same time. That energy just goes through me, and to be ready for the next visitor and the next one and the next one.
So what she's talking about is that the work is about the artist being there, the artist being present, the museum goer, the gallery goer being present with the artist. It's personal. That's to say that there are multiple ways to engage this, and there's only a few ways that we can engage it now, which is through the documentation. But the real piece was about going in and sitting down and meeting the gaze of the artist who just sat there. Now, if we go back to look at this article that talks about like the response of the public to it, this one woman felt it necessary to take off her clothes, and she was whisked away immediately. This other person decided his commentary was that he induced vomiting in himself, and he was then again also escorted off the premises. But the point is that Marina did not respond at all. That her complete lack of response was the same regardless of the performance, if you will, of the audience, and it was consistent. She consistently won at it. I mean, she set the parameters for it, and she followed through with it entirely.